What up, YouTube? This JBZ, and I'm back with the tuner and shop name and rear wheel horsepower and rear wheel torque numbers for the 2007 Z06 Corvette and what we done to it. So I'm gonna jump right into this real quick. What we ended up doing, the heads had been touched before, so I wanted to make sure that it was okay. I told you about the last shop I had, and he was suggesting that I still get the heads redone. So anyway, once I got away from that shop and all the issues, I did go to another shop. This shop is in Woodstock, Georgia. It's LS Experts. So what I had them do, I kept the same headers that I had on it, kept the cats. I didn't change anything like that. But what I did do, as I said in the last video, we changed out the Billy Boat Fusion mufflers because the MPP didn't work, or the actuators didn't work. I'm sorry. So I changed that out and went with a Z06 stock MPP and had those muffler modded. So I had them install that, but then the thing we did change up here, I did get a new spark plug wires. I did have them do the heads. They use LME to do their heads. And then I added the Nick Williams, I think it's 103, the newer style. And then I also added the MSD Atomic Intake Manifold. I didn't do porting on that intake manifold. Other than that, the cold air intake is still the same. And that's really about it. That's all that I did change. So the numbers ended up being 561 rear wheel horsepower and 537 rear wheel foot pound of torque. So that's what that numbers ended up being. I was hoping the numbers were a little bit higher, or hoping I got around 600 at the rear wheels. But also too, the one thing about it was the big common denominator is we don't know what cam is in it. So I kind of felt like, from when I first got the car, I felt like the cam may be a little bit on the smaller side by just listening to it, but also too, you have the axle back and all that stuff that goes into it. But also too, I think when I first got it, the RPMs, it did idle higher. I went back to one of the pictures that I took, and I could see, I think the idle was like at 1100 RPMs at idle. Now it's like right at 900 RPMs, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm kind of go over the rundown, account of the timeline, which I know I'm about 6 months late now from when I started this thing, and I'm gonna go over just the notes that I took and wrote down. Pretty much probably read them word for word. If not, I'm just gonna kind of skim through them and try to keep the video pretty short, actually. And then I'll let you know, kind of, I did have one issue. Really, I had two issues, but one of them, which they actually got it fixed. Well, I can't say they really got it fixed, but it's a whole lot better. But I'll probably have to end up taking the car back and having them look over this issue. Okay, so I talked to LS Experts, which that's the shop that did the heads, the MSD Intake Manifold, and the Nick Williams 103, and changed the plug wires and spark plugs. So I talked to them on April 5th, 23. They told me it may be up to 2 months wait before they're ready. Could be month and a half, but plan on 2 months. I put deposit down on 4/5/23, which is April 5th. Just waiting for the call to drop off car. May 16th, got the call to schedule a car drop off. I dropped the car off on May 24th. I messaged them the next day 5/25, which is May 25th, about something, and they responded with the answer to my question and said they are in the middle of it right now. I responded, huh? They responded, yes, sir, got the heads off and doing the work. I'm definitely, me personally, I'm definitely not used to that from any shop I've worked with in the past. The one note of this is the tuner was on vacation the week of 5/22 and didn't come back to until Tuesday, May 30th. Got a call on June 2nd, and the car was ready to be picked up when I could. I took a vacation day and picked the car up on June 5th. The tuner had to catch up on tuning other cars that were in front of mine, but that's still quick to me even after he got back. So pretty much he was on vacation. Had he not been on vacation, the car may have been done possibly that next week. So I mean that was a very quick turnaround time from any shop I had. So obviously their scheduling and what they need to do, they was all in line. You know, I know other people may have other shops and then they be like, well, you know, this is normal, but some shops kind of don't do that. I haven't dealt with shops in the past that have been like that quick, or it was, I guess, on that kind of schedule. So that was greatly appreciated. So when I did pick up the car on June 5th, the only thing was I had an issue with the hot start. Pretty big issue with the hot start. It seemed like it didn't want to start back up once it got warm and hot. So I did call them back. I didn't write this down, but I did call them back and told them what the issue I had. I mean, it was pretty bad as far as once the car got warm or hot, or sometime even I may leave it sitting for an hour. I go back out and try to crank it, and it would be hard to turn over. Then sometime I would cut it off, and then for an hour, and then I go to fire up, it'll fire right up. So anyway, they told me, hey, bring it back when you get a chance. So I told them I could probably drop it off. I want to say I dropped it off that next Friday or something like that after that. Or it may have been like that June 9th or whatnot. So they turned around and they was able to replicate the issue. And once they was able to replicate it and tried it, and then I ended up getting the car back that next week after that week. So as far as customer service and stuff, they do a great job. And then again, the shop is LSS Spurts in Woodstock, Georgia. Great customer service, hand down. The only other issue I'm still having that slight warm start issue. Is not near as bad as it was before, and it's very sporadic. It's on and off. So whenever I get a chance, I will take it back down there to them. It's just whenever I have time. But now it's not as bad as it was before, because before I was like, you know, I got kind of scared to drive, because it's like, well, if I get out there, I know it's hot outside, because you got to think this was during the summertime. And I'm like, if I get out there and then turn around and the car won't fire, you know, you kind of don't want to drive a car you feel that's unreliable. And so that's kind of what more scared me, but it's doing a lot better. And now the issue is not near as intermittent as it was before, because before it was like all the time, constant. It'll be times where I may have the car off for like 2 hours and then go back out and fire it up, and it'll like try to crank but then just kind of fall on its face, so I have to re-crank it. But they was able to replicate that issue. I got it back. It's a lot better. Eventually I will take it back down there, but also too, it was getting summertime, and I work a lot in the summer, spring and summer, really all year, but spring and summer we work a lot of 6-7 days, and I wanted to be able to enjoy the car at least for this season, because I know when I did get it back, depending on how the weather is around here in Tennessee, we may or may not have a longer season. So I just wanted to let y'all know that I am very sorry that it have took me this long to make the video. I've got a lot going on in between, you know, just everyday life. Actually, me and Chris still now looking to build a house or get a house built. So that's a path I have never been down before, because I'll be a first time homeowner. I know she's had houses before with, you know, all the exes. I guess they maybe stayed in Texas or something. Hell, I don't know. But anyway, just had a lot going on. So sorry it took me so long to make this video. But then again, like I said, the rear wheel horsepower numbers was 561 rear wheel horsepower and 537 rear wheel foot pound of torque. Now, I'm happy with the car. It actually drives good. I may do a cam swap in the future. I don't know, but right now, kind of with the house and all that stuff, and you know, I'm happy with the way it is, honestly. But I guess most people that have LS7s, we're kind of more like, hey, let's get the 600 rear wheel, because we know the cams in the cars are more than capable. But it just depends on how much cam you go with, and you know, also too, the more overlap you would need more overlap to get to that 600 rear wheel horsepower numbers. But in return, sometimes, you know, you have good tuners, and tuners can tune real good, and they can make a cam drive real good. But yeah, the more overlap you get, if you start getting into most time LS7s to get them big horsepower numbers, most people are running cams that's 20 degrees or more of overlap. And when you do that, you know, tuners can make it. They can do it. It can be done, but also too, your drivability may suffer a little bit, or it's definitely not gonna drive like stock. That's what I'm trying to say. So y'all be careful. Thanks to all my subscribers. Y'all be safe and enjoy the day. Bye.